Welcome to our news update. Today we have some breaking news from around the world. First up,
Russia has launched a new attack on Ukraine's capital, according to officials. In other news,
the French parliament has designated Wagner a terrorist group, sadly.
The last female Yangtze giant softshell turtle has died. Meanwhile,
Putin has stated that a real war is being waged against Russia in his Victory Day speech. Additionally,
the Russian mercenary chief has been told to stay in Bakhmut or be branded a traitor. Finally,
the UK is preparing to provide Ukraine with long-range missiles, according to WP. Stay tuned for more updates. Let's get started.
Russia launched around 15 cruise missiles at Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, on May 9th, the second attack in as many days.
Air defense systems successfully shot down all of the missiles, according to officials.
The attacks came after air raid alerts sounded across most of the country.
This was the fifth attack in May and followed Russia's biggest drone swarm yet, launched the day before.
The attacks coincided with Russia's Victory Day, a public holiday commemorating the defeat of Nazi Germany in 1945.
There were no casualties reported in the attack, which was carried out with cruise missiles from the Caspian Sea region. Well, it looks like Russia's not the only one making enemies these days. France has officially added Wagner to their list of terrorist groups. Looks like the only thing they'll be conducting now is a symphony of destruction.
France's National Assembly has voted to designate Russia's paramilitary Wagner Group as a terrorist entity.
The resolution, which is non-binding, was supported by all 331 lawmakers present in Parliament.
The resolution calls on the European Union to register Wagner on the EU list of terrorist groups.
The move aims to reinforce legal tools against the group and affect all stakeholders, including banks that make its activity possible. Wagner has already faced several rounds of sanctions from the European Union, and adding it to the EU list of terror organizations would deal yet another blow to the group. France has come under pressure from the Wagner Group in Africa, where Paris's influence is waning. Well, from one group causing terror to another group facing extinction, let's talk about the last female Yangtze giant softshell turtle. The first known female Yangtze giant softshell turtle since 2019 was discovered in Dong Mo Lake in Vietnam in October 2021, offering hope for the revival of the species. However, the female turtle was found dead on the shores of the lake in late April 2022, leaving just two surviving male Yangtze giant softshells.
The cause of death remains unknown, and the species' extinction is not yet certain, but the turtle's natural habitat has been degraded, polluted, and dammed. Yangtze giant softshell turtles were once abundant in rivers in Vietnam, but hunting, dams, and pollution have fragmented and killed off almost all of the remaining turtle populations. The extinction of the species would be an unsurprising end, foreshadowed by years of quests for wild turtles that turned up empty and artificial insemination efforts that failed. The Yangtze giant softshell turtle is a unique and strange species, with a pig-like snout and gloriously stubby wrinkled limbs, and its closest relative, the Euphrates softshell turtle, is also endangered for similar reasons. Well, from the extinction of a species to the threat of war, it seems like Mother Nature and world leaders are both having a rough week. Russian President Vladimir Putin declared that a real war is being waged against Russia during his speech on Victory Day. Putin used the occasion to accuse the West of trying to destroy his country, and said that Russia wants a peaceful future.
He also stated that the entire country supports Russia's special military operation in Ukraine.
Putin criticized the West for forgetting the Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany in 1945.
The speech was delivered on Red Square as part of Russia's Victory Day celebrations.
This article was reported by Reuters and edited by Guy Falconbridge.
And in other news, it seems like Putin's real war might have to wait a bit longer, as the Russian mercenary chief is busy deciding whether to risk being called a traitor or just binge-watch Netflix in Bakhmut. The head of Russia's Wagner mercenary force, Yevgeny Prigozhin, has said that he and his men would be regarded as traitors if they abandoned their positions in the city of Bakhmut. Prigozhin has accused the defense ministry of deliberately starving his forces of ammunition, and has said that his forces will leave Bakhmut if they do not receive the ammunition they need.
He made these comments in a profanity-laced audio message on May 9th, which coincided with Russia's traditional parade on Moscow's Red Square.
Prigozhin has previously accused the defense ministry of deliberately starving his forces of ammunition, and has made a series of emotional statements in recent days about withdrawing from Bakhmut.
Analysts have said that Prigozhin's erratic behavior looks like an attempt to deflect blame for a lack of swift success and to spread disinformation. Prigozhin has avoided all personal criticism of President Vladimir Putin, but has poured scorn on Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and Valery Gerasimov, the chief of the General Staff.
Well, it looks like the Russian mercenary chief might need to invest in some comfortable furniture because he's not going anywhere. In other news, the UK is gearing up to give Ukraine a long-range missile makeover. Talk about leveling up.
The UK Ministry of Defence has asked for expressions of interest in providing strike capabilities with a range of up to 300 kilometers to Ukraine. according to a procurement notice posted by the British-led International Fund for Ukraine. The notice is a significant step towards the UK supplying long-range missiles to Kyiv, although no final decision has been made yet, according to a British official cited by the Washington Post.
The requested specifications are likely for air-launched Storm Shadow cruise missiles, which can be installed on Soviet-made Ukrainian jets and reach Russian territory. Ukraine has long requested longer-range missiles from Western countries to enable its forces to strike Russian command posts, supply lines, ammunition and fuel depots deep inside Crimea and in the temporarily occupied territories in the east of Ukraine. The ability to strike far behind the contact line will help clear the way for a ground offensive by tanks and infantry troops, as Kyiv prepares to launch a major counteroffensive in the next few weeks. Kyiv has promised the West that it will not use donated weapons to strike Russian territory, but the fear that Ukraine will fire missiles at targets in the Russian Federation is a key reason why the U.S. has repeatedly rejected Kyiv's request for long-range American munitions.